Now we'll move to the main part of our agenda today, which is honoring our Joseph Branch Professionalism Award winner. By tradition, we always recognize those who are with us who have already received this award and been honored. So I would ask the following folks to stand up and wave, and if you'll hold your applause and recognize them all at the end, it will save us a little time. Robert L. McMillan, William Joslin, Judge Robert L. Farmer, Charles F. Blanchard, James K. Dorsett, Jr., deceased, Wright T. Dixon, Jr., Charles H. Young, Wade M. Smith, Daniel T. Blue, Jr., John B. McMillan, J. Ruffin Bailey, deceased, John M. Silverstein, Ann Reed, E.D. Ed Gaskins, up here with us, Jr., excuse me. Roger W. Smith, Sr., who would love to be here, but he's keeping a judge entertained downtown today. Carlin G. Poole, J. Allen Al Adams, Sidney S. Eagles, who should have a judge in front of his name, Howard W. Twiggs, who unfortunately is deceased. If we can thank all of these folks. And I get to introduce somebody I just introduced, but Judge Sid Eagles is our chair of the Professionalism Award Committee. He served on this committee with wonderful distinction, and he is going to inform you of today's honoree. Judge Eagles. There's a long introduction.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to introduce some people who are guests of our honoree. Our honoree, in case you have not read your bar flyer, is the Honorable Colin Willoughby, our district attorney. Choosing him was a piece of cake, if you will pardon the expression. He is distinguished in so many different ways that his name called itself forward almost without any prompting at all. Before we begin with the comments and recognition, I want to introduce the son, not a lawyer, but the non-lawyer son of Chief Justice Branch. Jim Branch has religiously attended these functions honoring his father and various members of the bar for their outstanding professionalism for as long as I can remember. And Jim, won't you please stand and let us recognize your presence.
Judge, I'm a real estate developer looking for a job.
I think that's fine with all of us as long as you don't try to practice law. Jim's sister, Jane Branch McCree, was unable to be here, but I'm sure sends her regards. Colin has guests. I understand that his, I think I'm at liberty to say this, much better half, Tricia, is unable to attend. But we certainly understand that she's been there for everything else for Colin, and we're going to let him do it on his own today. His parents, Clarence and Mildred Willoughby, Mr. and Ms. Willoughby, just wave or stand, whatever suits you. Thank you very much. Liz Riley and Mary Graham Willoughby, Colin's daughters, are here. Ladies, you ought to stand because as attractive as you are, we need that. There I go. I'm in trouble again. Longtime friends and associates, Judge Rusty Sherrill, retired. Judge Bill Pittman, not yet retired. And Judge Donald Stevens, the senior resident Superior Court judge for this district. Let's give all these people some applause. It is our custom in the Wake County Bar to, upon selecting the winner of the Joseph Branch Award, to ask the honoree to select someone to prepare remarks for the bar flyer. And an early edition online indicated that I had prepared those remarks. And they were splendid, and I'm glad to take credit, except I didn't do it. Bill Pittman did it, and it's a great job by him, and I want credit to be given where credit is due. The other part of our tradition is the honoree gets to select someone to make oral remarks in his behalf before this group. Colin has chosen Senior Resident Judge Donald Stevens, who needs no further introduction. Judge Stevens.
Madam President, may it please the bar. I've never said that before. May it please the bar. Kind of an odd, got some judges staring at me here, twist. I'm really privileged to be here today on this very special occasion and this special presentation for Colin and his family. Forgive my notes. Colin would say I have a touch of the Alzheimer's, and so I kind of need that. I told a friend who just retired several years ago from the SBI, SBI agent, I was scheduled to speak at this luncheon today when Colin was getting the Professionalism Award from the bar. And that agent commented, I guess they finally acknowledged that he's not an amateur. Okay. So that is your SBI analysis and assessment for today, folks. Several months ago, I was cleaning out a cabinet, and I ran across the questionnaire from the News Observer that I was asked to fill out in 2004. One of the questions that I was asked, who are your heroes? I listed one, Joseph Branch. The young reporter who interviewed me during that 2004 election season, it's clear to me she did not have a clue who Joseph Branch was. Those of you who were ever privileged to either meet or know Chief Justice Branch obviously would have known who he was, and you would have never forgotten the man. He was a gentle giant among jurists. He was a great jurist. He was the most humble, unassuming, non-self-promoting, and courteous person that you would have ever met in your life. He personified professionalism and civility. He personified what a lawyer ought to be in his personal life, in his professional life, and in his public life. He embodied what we all should strive to be. This makes the award in his name so very special because Colin Willoughby is a man much like Chief Justice Branch. I think you all agree with me. I certainly hope that you do. Sid Eagles called me a couple weeks ago and he asked me how long I thought my remarks would be. And then it was a busy program, then I needed to be brief. And I said, Sid, I'm going to be just as brief as the last written brief some young lawyer from your office filed with me for a 10-minute hearing, which I think ran about 125 pages. We all know that preachers and lawyers and politicians have a tendency to redefine what words mean. Words like brief, they simply change the meaning of those words to fit their own needs, their own plans, and their own agenda. I come to here today to talk to you about a man who does not redefine words to fit a situation. He has never redefined himself to fit some kind of Raleigh agenda or political agenda or personal agenda. I hope you have read Judge Bill Pittman's insightful chronicle of the life of Colin Willoughby in the Bar Flyer. which documents why Colin is so deserving of this award. Colin said, it appears to be fictional, but it's a good read. Chief Justice Branch was born and raised and practiced law in Halifax County, I think in Enfield. And he came from salt-of-the-earth roots, much like the roots that Colin Willoughby came from. Colin was born and raised on a farm in Tabor City, Columbus County. He's a product of another place and another time. Some might say a better place and time, but certainly a less complicated place and time. But a place and time in which a handshake actually meant something, where a person's word was in fact their bond, where reputation was more important than money, and where everyone knew that reputation was one of the things that money simply could not buy. It was a place where people were rich. They were rich in honesty, they were rich in integrity, they were rich in civility, and they were rich in a work ethic, a work ethic that said and believed in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. They did not struggle with the meaning of words like right and wrong. They knew what those words meant. Colin comes from a place and time where people knew who they were, and they did not redefine themselves simply because of a change in their circumstances. From this place and time, Colin Willoughby has never lost his way. If I have to make a point today, from that place and time, Colin Willoughby has never lost his way. He left those roots in Tabor City, and he went on to get a college degree, to get a master's degree in business administration, to get a law degree from Campbell in 1979. He could have gone into the world of business or finance, and he could have worked for a Fortune 500 company, and he could have joined the corporate world of Wall Street, and perhaps he could have taken his annual bonuses for the last several years from federal bailout money, and he could have redefined what is moral and okay. A Wall Street definition of right and wrong. Or he could have come to Raleigh and practiced law and become a public servant and brought to this city and this district a great wealth of honesty and integrity and civility and work ethic, which he brought from his roots. As we all know, he chose the path to Raleigh and not to Wall Street, and we are all much richer because of the choice that he made. He's been your district attorney and my district attorney for 24 years. In a democracy, there are some things that we as a people almost take for granted. Honest government, a court system that works, public servants who are moral and ethical and fair. Jesse Caldwell, who's a judge in Gaston County, likes to say that there's a scarlet thread that runs throughout the fabric of our judicial system, throughout the fabric of our society. This is a scarlet thread of fairness. If you pull the thread out, then the whole fabric of our system and even our society becomes unraveled. Lawyers like Colin Willoughby are that scarlet thread that keeps our justice system truly fair, truly just, and it keeps our system from unraveling. It is a system that is so strong and yet at sometimes so fragile and so vulnerable to those who would redefine words like justice and fairness, or redefine themselves to their detriment and our detriment. More than one public official who has decided that power and money trumps ethics and morality have found themselves in a Willoughby courtroom to be reminded that honesty and integrity are not negotiable, they are not for sale. The creed of professionalism for the 10th Judicial District Bar reads in part, "My word is my bond, integrity is absolute, fairness and civility are essential." We all know that there is no better example of that creed in our bar than Colin Willoughby. The people at the top of every organization and every institution, from the courthouse to the State House to the White House, and the world's corporate boardrooms, they set the moral tone. They set the ethics, the civility, the humanity or lack thereof. They set the work standards that will permeate their organizations. It's their leadership, their wisdom, their judgment, their fairness, their concept of right and wrong, their humanity that will define the institution which they lead. In our professional worlds, we've got of clerks and lawyers and judges, we have people who are rising stars and shooting stars and falling stars, and on a rare occasion, you have a polar star, a lawyer who is the beacon in our bar to keep all of us and our profession from losing our way and to keep the system from becoming unraveled. Colin is our polar star. The reputation of the Wake County justice system for fairness, for honesty, and for integrity exists in large measure because of the example that he has set in his personal life and in his professional life. As the people's lawyer and the people's advocate, Colin knows well and has demonstrated, as Chief Justice Branch knew well and demonstrated, that the greatest tool of advocacy is civility and fairness. A lawyer named John Whalen once wrote, "A great lawyer is the man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and from an acute sense of propriety, and whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, or the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who is himself humbled if necessity compels him to humble another, who does not flatter wealth, does not cringe before power, does not boast of his own achievements, who speaks with frankness but always with sincerity and sympathy and humanity, whose deeds follow his words, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own, and who appears well in any company, a man with whom honor is sacred and virtue is safe." Under that definition, certainly Colin Willoughby is a great lawyer. He's one of our greatest lawyers in this district. Today is an election day, as has been noted. On the Wake County ballot, you will see Mr. Willoughby's name as a candidate for re-election. You will also see he has no opponent. That is strong, clear, and convincing evidence that there exists no better lawyer and no better person for district attorney in Wake County. Even in the day of Democrats versus Republicans, Tea Party contenders, and just plain angry voters, the man from Tabor City makes us all proud, and he's done so and continues to do so. I think it's a most fitting day that Colin Willoughby received the Professionalism Award. We congratulate him on a job well done, on a life well lived, and you certainly, Colin, have made Chief Justice Branch most proud. Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge Stevens. I could not have asked for a better speech, no matter how short it was. Thank you very much. Colin, it's my pleasure to present you with your award. If you'll come up, we have a token that symbolizes only our great respect and affection for you. This is the Joseph Branch Professionalism Award, presented to T. Colin Willoughby, Jr. by the Wake County Bar Association, November 2, 2010. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you all. It's quite an honor to be recognized in this way and by the bar. Thank the Wake County Bar and the lawyers in the Wake County Bar. I appreciate this. I'd like to thank several people. I'll be brief, but I'd like to thank my wife, who can't be here, who's on a trip to China, and they just wouldn't rearrange the Shanghai exposition, no matter how important Judge Stevens thought this was. But, but you know, when I went to Campbell, you had to have an interview to get in, and I was transferring from Vermont Law School, and you had to have an interview, and I couldn't come, and we had enough airfare. My wife came, and she did the interview with Leary Davis, and I got in. You know, they say behind every man is the woman that puts him there, and often an astonished mother-in-law. But she really has been the inspiration for me, as well as my children, Liz and Mary, who have all of that. My parents here, I appreciate that. And now I'd like to thank my family for all their support over the years and allowing me to do the thing that I've loved to do. And I'd also like to thank the people in the Wake County Bar. This is a great bar. It's a bar where people encourage you to do the right thing. And, you know, we had lunch with a lawyer back in the 70s at Hudson Belt cafeteria with you know, folks like T. Taylor and Mr. McMillan and Charlie Blanchard and B.T. Henderson and folks like that. It was just always a great inspiration. And I'd like to thank Gerald Bass, who was I practiced law with for 7 years, who gave me a job and taught me about criminal procedure. And a lot of lawyers in this room taught me how to try cases the hard way, putting knots on my head. But I do thank you all for that. Thank all of you for coming. I appreciate this very much.
Details. Good job, Madam President. Very well done.
Good job, Miss Dan.
Thank you. I think we actually surprised her.
Hey. You're the one. One more year would have killed you. I know. Judge, would you be willing? Would you?
Okay, all right. All right, I'll see if I can get them up. Let me see if I can get them up and do that.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Especially when you talk to
Congratulations.
Terry.
You remember all of our years.
That's the other one.
Good to see you. Great work.
They're right here.
I got
Terry's doing it.
How's the family? Good. How about sweet Mary Evelyn? She's good. Good.
Yeah, I know. Would y'all please throw these on with you?
Perfect.
can get a hug.
I think so. Watch, you may have to duck her first. Duck the right hook and go in for a hug. I told him. Up against the.
Up there?
Mhm.
Do you want us back over here? Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very well. That was very exciting. Hey.
It's nice to meet you.
Too much. Am I leaving or staying?
Act like y'all like each other. Okay, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Hey. How are you? Good. Let's sneak it in. That's wonderful. Yeah. So this is a I think they finally surprised us. It's hard to get something pulled over.
It looked like a little element of surprise that was going on there. That's
When I told her we were going off script, she knew something was wrong.
And she did. Her face went, uh-oh.
I did. Ready?
There's a creek or something right around there. There's got to be a good surprise.
Okay.
We did it right.
Jack, how you doing?
Good.
I think she was surprised.
I think so.
I think you got her there. That's good.
I'd say so. I think so.
That's our job. I got some unfinished business. That's one of the things.
Okay.
I got